Hi, I'm Nathan Jones. Today is a special show. I was speaking with Kevin Gums, who owns and operates Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club, about me coming out and trying to slam one of his big bucks for the show. Well, in the course of our conversation, we got on the subject of quality deer management, which of course means controlling your doe numbers. Kevin has property in 2 different counties, and both counties have liberal bag limits for does. So I thought it'd be a great idea to do a wild extremes hunt for does. Kevin had room for 6 hunters plus myself. So the question now was how to choose these 6 hunters. At that time, we had 2 moderators on the Wild Extremes forum, so I decided to include them. And then I decided just arbitrarily to pick the 4 top posters on the forum. None of the guys involved knew this was about to take place, so it was a lot of fun breaking the news to them. And I have to say, it was a blast being in camp with these guys. This was a lot of fun for all of us, and I hope it's a lot of fun for you. This is Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes. Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Dead Downwind. At Dead Downwind, 99% just isn't good enough. Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. Height Point Broadheads, hunt with the best. And Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter. And also by these other great companies: Kicking Bear One-on-One, Mossback Game Calls, Copper John, Doinker Stabilizers, Lone Wolf Tree Stands, Women Hunters, and Chateau Berdy.
Awesome, that is Wild Extreme. Yes!
This segment of Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Dead Downwind. At Dead Downwind, 99% just isn't good enough. I will admit that by the time Julie, Matt, and I pulled into the Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club, I was totally thrashed. We had just finished up a hunt in northwest North Dakota the day before, and knowing that the hunt at the Kankakee Marsh started in just 2 days meant that we would have to drive it straight through to be there in time to meet the guys who had been invited to try to slam some of Kevin's does. 20 hours later, 3 extremely tired people were greeted with open arms. However, I still had enough energy for orientation and to pass out the Dead Downwind product, which would help level the playing field for the guys. Whatever, this stuff works. We've had so many. I'm telling you, we've had so many encounters. That Pope and Young bucket we passed on 20 yards directly downwind from the double bull at eye level with this. And we did 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. We loaded the guys up with all the Dead Downwind products, everything from underarm deodorant to the E3 spray. I wanted this group to enjoy the same advantages that I do when I hunt. What these field cloths are good for is absolutely everything. And everything, I always have them in my pack. And you want to have some really cool pictures. They're great to clean up a deer. You get sweaty. Take your shirt off, clean up with these great stuff. So it's like operating with 0 mistakes. I mean, you got to be on your game. With all these deer, I mean, these big old mama does that we're going to try to kill are survivalists. They've been around tons of hunters, and they're smarter than most bucks because they just got more years, more experience with hunters shooting at them. And so shooting a big old doe is something to be proud of, especially with a bow. And then it was time to meet the players. I have to say, our host Kevin did everything in his power to ensure that all of the hunters had a comfortable and enjoyable hunt.
If he walks up, I hope I can pull my bow back. This is scary. Nah, this is scary.
On this one, I would be hanging out at 30 feet trying to do my best to help the boys out with the does.
Shop at the wrong band.
Scott drove in from Ohio, and Gilb came all the way from Pennsylvania.
Dude, P2 Phantom, man. In the deep of the woods, you may find me, and she did.
Take a picture. You take a picture, man.
Larry showed up to represent the Hoosier State.
As we kill out, then Davey will be in tonight, so we'll just rotate the camera guys around. Everybody will, get a chance to jack on camera, and they're going to help you judge button bucks. And not that you guys can't, but it's just some of the buttons are recessed in the hair sometimes, and that's really tough. And so you got to really scrutinize. What you want to do really for management is kill the old does, because those are old genetics, and you always hope you get the old genetics out. And maybe you get one of these super traveler bucks coming through and he breeds your does. Well, then the babies have the new genetics. And so you hear these guys going, oh, this big old mama doe, she has twin bucks every year and gotta kill her, because that's old genetics. So you get these short-faced deer come in, I'd probably pass on them. And the little button bucks will have more of a square head, and they'll be a little thicker through the chest. And they will more than likely be the first one out, because they're just impetuous and that's why they get killed, because they're the first one out. They're curious, they get in trouble, and that's a buck's nature until he hits 3, and then you can't find him.
The Marshall boys, Rick and Carrie, drove down from Michigan to try to do their best to put a couple does in the cooler.
These new sponsors, Dead Downwind, rock.
And last but definitely not least, we would have Jess from Ohio mixing it up.
We're going to utilize this and get you guys right on top of these deer.
This segment of Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years, and by Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. This would be a first for all of these guys. Even though they all spend every free hour they have in a blind or a deer stand, now they had a camera looking right over their shoulder. On this morning, Larry would be teased and absolutely tormented by a seemingly never-ending flow of deer as they crisscrossed the small food plot in front of him. I'm sure all of you have been in his position plenty of times when the deer were just at the very extreme limits of your effective range. I will have to commend Larry on his hunting ethics. A lot of hunters, when presented with so many deer, would have succumbed to the temptation and tried what is commonly referred to as a Hail Mary shot in hopes of just getting lucky. But Larry stuck to his resolve of not shooting unless being presented with the shot he wanted, or none at all.
We've seen 40 or 50 deer this morning. Just crossing just down a little ways from us, a little too far out of range. There's been a bunch of them. All does except for about 5 bucks, maybe.
I got a deer right here.
While Larry sat hoping that just one of those big does would ease just another 10 yards closer to his blind, Scott was about to have a close encounter. An encounter close enough that would make him pick up his Martin bow and come to full draw. The big doe stopped perfectly in his shooting, and then it was game on.
Shot right over its back. I see some deer. Some does and some points right there. I'm gonna take this big one.
This is the situation where dead downwind definitely gives you the edge. I was working with a slight crosswind to the approaching deer, and the thermals were not rising but just hanging. So I knew to pull this one off, I would need a little extra help. And on this close encounter, I got it.
How about that for Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club, man? I'll tell you what, Kevin is wanting us in here to take some of these does out, and that tight point broadhead slammed that deer through the shoulders, and it's laying there 60 yards. I watched it go down. Well, how about this, man? Another one of these great big does that Kevin's trying to get out of here at Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club. They have just started a great management program here, and I'm proud to be part of it, and doing my part, I should say. Anytime you can get out and hunt these white-tailed deer, especially with Archer equipment, it's just what we here at Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes live for. This is another great time. Thank you, Kevin Guns. Thank you, Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club. We'll be right.
This segment of Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Tight Point Broadheads. Now you're hunting with the best. And by Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter. The next day broke cold and breezy. These are the conditions that will definitely test your mettle. Jess was set up on an oak ridge overlooking a low-lying marsh. He was in hopes that the cooler weather would increase feeding deer activity and waylay a big doe on her way up the ridge to scavenge a few acorns. And that's exactly what happened. Jess administered a clean miss, but unbelievably, one of the does didn't blow out with the others, and so Jess reloaded and got ready to redeem himself.
That shot was bad. I think maybe it stepped just a little bit, but I still shot way back. Well, I just took about a 19-yard shot at a doe. Apparently, when I released my arrow, a big gust of wind came in from the southwest here and pushed my arrow off course maybe about 6 inches and just barely missed the front of that doe.
Excuse me? What did you say?
Apparently, when I released my arrow, a big gust of wind came in from the southwest here and pushed my arrow off course maybe about 6 inches and just barely missed the front of that doe.
That's what I thought I heard you say. I think you better start picking up some arrows.
Clean miss. These new tight points will do a number on dirt. Let's see what they do on deer. Let's go look at this other arrow.
Even though Jess's shot had been less than perfect, the tight point broadhead had done its job.
Again, we hit this doe a little far back. Definitely decent blood, but we're going to mark this last spot where we've seen it disappear into the brush here, and definitely give it some time. And
well, last night hit the it wasn't too late, but you shot a nice doe, got her back a little bit,
yeah.
And we came in this morning, and there she lays. But good job, man.
Thank you.
They do a great job managing Kankakee Marsh, and part of that is killing your does, taking your doe. Yeah, absolutely. You did good, man.
Thank you.
And it was great having you guys in camp.
The first day of the hunt for Gilb had presented him with several encounters, but no shots. This second morning, however, would prove to be a different story.
There goes a doe. Right there, right there.
The alert doe was scanning for danger as well as other deer, but didn't see or smell the ultimate predator directly overhead. Gilb was finally going to get a shot.
That's slamming. That's slamming. Dude, P2 Phantom, man. In the deep of the woods, you may find me, and she did. Yeah, baby. Hey, that's for Sarge and Empty Shooter. Told me to get one for them. That's for them.
You put the slam dance on him, baby.
Yeah, baby. Let's call the other guys to see, huh? All right.
There is nothing quite like the celebration of this nature in the woods. The guys had all come into the Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club not really knowing what to expect, and had not only made new friends with people who would remain friends with them for the rest of their lives, but also experiences that would forever remain etched deeply in their memories.
You are a killer, my friend.
You're a killer.
What do you think about tight point broadheads now?
I want to see that hole.
There's a deer, brother.
That is bringing the bacon.
I have to say that I'm proud Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes could play a part in all of that.
Exactly what I wanted you guys to shoot. These old mature does. And buddy, I'll tell you what. I love you too. Oh man, right through the shoulder. Look at this.
I tell you what a great deer. And you know, people here and there, I hear people that think that the only trophy is a buck, and right here was your heart not blasting through your chest when it comes time. You know, you're deer hunting, a white-tailed deer, and what a great animal to be able to hunt with a bow. Congratulations, man! You come in here to Indiana, Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club.
Thank you.
And you put a great animal on the ground, and and can't thank Kevin Gums enough for hosting the Wild Extremes boys in here. I want to thank Kevin Gums for hosting all of us to a fantastic hunt. To book a hunt of your own at the Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club, just call the number that ran during the show, or go to our website, wildextremes.tv. Go to our preferred outfitters page where you can contact Kevin directly from there. We'll have another QDM hunt coming up soon with Kevin, and who knows, maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones helping me thin the does. Oh yeah, by the way, I might have had some luck on one of Kevin's big bucks, but that's a hunt for another show. I'll see all of you right here next time where the slammin' will continue.
Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes has been brought to you by Dead Downwind. At Dead Downwind, 99% just isn't good enough. Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. Tight Point Broadheads, hunt with the best. And Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter. And also by these other great companies: Kicking Bear One-on-One, Mossback Game Calls, Copper John, Doinker Stabilizers, Lone Wolf Tree Stands, Women Hunters, and Chateau Berdin.
Got us a monster.
This has been a Wild Serenade production.